back to another video. Today's video, I know it's pretty late. It's well, what time is it? Oh, 9:53. Okay. For me, my time zone. If you might be in the UK, it might be in a totally different time zone. But today we're going to be talking about something about season 6. Now, overall, I think I know what the theme is going to be. No, I'm just joking. We're going to take a look at the reality log slash teaser. You've probably seen the news feed, or probably seen it later today. But the color theme is orange. Now, the reason why I think it's orange is because orange is also represents rage. Rage is hatred, anger, you know, all those kind of things. Right? Now, I'm not saying that's the theme, but it does feel like that way. I'm not saying that. So we're gonna take a look at this thing. I'm gonna stop talking and take a listen. You've probably seen a couple people listen to this, but I want to point out some things in this teaser. So we got a claw. Now I thought this was Dyer's claw, but it's actually for an upcoming skin. Maybe the cat is. You know, you never know. We also have a soccer. It looks like what's his name, Neymar, that I hear a lot of people talking about. There's also an eye and a werewolf or a wolf, for that matter. It's definitely not Dyer because the teeth is a little bit different than Dyer. If you take a look at Dyer's teeth, right? Alright, I have Dyer. Right, I always you know, when I thought about it, it looks like Dyer, but it's not Dyer, because Dyer would be, you know, he has sharper teeth, right? You can see his teeth is really sharp, like up here and around here. It looks like Dyer, but it could be something else. We could get a remix of Dyer, but some people say it's not gonna happen. I would love to see a female version of Dyer. How cool would that be? But I guess we can look at the reg. And also for this item shop today, this item shop is mostly all related to all the hunters. We got the xenomorphs. I kept like I thought it was like a xylophone, but it said xenomorphs. We have Michonne. We have Michonne. We have Daryl. I keep saying Michonne twice. We also have Master Chief, all the Warthog. We also have the Terminator, right? All that. We also have Kratos. We have Snake Eyes. We have the normal daily item shop. We have Echo right here. I really like that skin. Not really. We also have this really chick, right? She looks pretty cool. Very scary. We also have Sight. This is another one. It's actually the Thor style. We also have Deadeye, who a lot of people really like. I kind of like a lot. We also have the Sight. Deadeye's dark vision sight, right? Or part of the, or a spectral sight. Very cool. We also have a lot of the Cobb is back. We also have Meat Pie. This is gonna be like an item shop slash you know, discussion video. So, and then we got Yeehaw. Yeehaw. We also got you know, Banshee, or am I saying it right? Banshee? Banshee? I don't know how to say it. We also have what was called Champion Series. We also have the music battle boss music. We also have the the jumping for joy emote, like the, you know, this emote just, I forgot about this emote was kind of really interesting. Also, for some reason, she I don't know why that's cut off, but whatever. Maybe they made, and then we have all the icon, mostly all the icon skins have been here for a while. So you can check that out. I can't do the, let's have the icon music. Alright, now we're gonna take a look at this reality. So we have, first in the news feed, we have the 0 Point Hunters shop. Agent Jody has gathered the formal focus of the hunters, but time is running short as the 0 Point continues to stabilize. So that's one. Alright, now from this teaser, as I mentioned, this is from Season X. I don't know if a lot of people don't notice about this. This is from Season X. Some people, I noticed this. This is a new. This looks like. This is a not werewolf, a wolf. And we have a sort of like an eye, a 10, and then some kind of robotic arm. And then we have Brazil stuff, and then we have something else right here. There'll be more teasers coming in the near future. We already have 2 so far. One related to Neymar. I keep saying Neymar, but it's Neymar. Alright, so we're gonna watch this. What's this?
Reality log doesn't even matter. What's the point of recording these logs if you're not gonna listen? We've lost control of the 0 Point. Do you get what that means? You must not, because you're doing nothing. I've dedicated my life to the Order. I've given everything. And for what? To just sit back and watch reality end? That's not who we are. At least it's not who I am. Not anymore.
Anyways, from that reference, there was a couple of hints towards this. First of all, foremost, you can see that there was a bow and arrow in this reality log. We also have, I couldn't tell, but it was a bow and arrow. There was a shotgun, looked like a shotgun, right? And then we also had some other things to that. But the other thing to point out is a lot of people are speculating, or some people are actually looking into this specifically, is the way that John Jones himself is that, John Jones himself is actually, he could be actually turning, some people are speculating he's actually might be turning into the Visitor. Because when he said, when he mentioned, like, he didn't want reality to be destroyed. That's what he wants. He doesn't want reality to be destroyed. And he's not that kind of person. You know? And that's the main reason why he might be actually turning into the Visitor. Because if you remember, the Visitor was the... As you remember, right, from the way that John Jones, sorry if my mic, sorry, my brother. So in this sequence where John, I said that John Jones could be turning into the Visitor himself. Maybe the Visitor is actually reliving his past in Chapter 2, season, Chapter 2, all the way up through Chapter 2, basically. Maybe he's listened through his past through that time, and maybe the Visitor is actually the one. Maybe John Jones is actually the Visitor. I'm not saying it's possible, but I do feel like the Visitor has that kind of, like, that look. I mean, and the way he sounds, he's like, he doesn't want to, like, he's trying to recruit everyone, and the way that he wears armor, like the armor in the Xenomorph scene. You saw he was wearing a bandana, and he could be actually turning into the Visitor himself. And the Visitor could be reliving his past through that time. And maybe the Visitor created an alternate version of himself, or something, to basically relive his past. And that's what I think is gonna happen. And a lot of times that's true, but sometimes it could be false. So, and a lot of people are referencing to the Chapter 1 island. So it's probably because maybe John Jones is technically maybe in that moment when the 7 members were destroying the 0 point from within, and then what happened is the Visitor traveled back into the past, where he was living throughout his past to create an alternate version of himself. And now he's really living that memories. And when they must have.
Christian,
Yeah.
help yourself to cookies.
Yeah,
There's both
I
of
know.
them.
Living through that past, it's where things get confusing, because how can John Jones be the Visitor? Well, it's really hard to explain this point because the 0 point is really complicated. But I believe that's the main reason, because if you look at all the teasers, right? If you looked at in that time frame, you saw Bunker Jonesy, you saw Jonesy traveling through the time and space. Everything was connected to that moment where the Visitor must have knew about this, like everything. He must have been. He's probably Agent Jonesy himself, and he was living through that moment through his past and creating alternate realities of himself, and pretty much creating alternate versions of himself, and that's what happens to the multiverse or the 0 point. It basically creates snapshots, and the Visitor was trying to stop that. And now, from what I tell, is it's what actually is gonna happen towards the end of this chapter might be the final chapter of Fortnite. The reason why I was about to explain this like a few days ago, but I don't want to explain it too much. The reason why I think this is going to be the final chapter of Fortnite is because... Why do I think that? Well, it's not going to be the final chapter, but it will be the final chapter. Okay? The reason time being is about how Fortnite, how the whole game progresses through the next chapter of Chapter 3, Season 3. And I don't think there's going to be a Chapter 3, Season 3. I mean, Season 3. I meant Chapter 2. No, Chapter 3, in general, because if you take a look at the Batman comic, or through the Batman comic, right? most of the all the other characters are escaping the loop itself, escaping through the loop, and that actually brings me to a question. Brings up to a question about this. Does this mean? Does this mean this will be the final chapter, the final episode, the final scene, the final, everything, everything about Fortnite will be leading up to season X. And the reason why I'm saying this for chapter 2 season X, this will be the final, not the final season, but the final chapter. We don't know if there's going to be a chapter 3 because there's no confirmation. But the reason time being is I'm talking about the Batman comics, right? If you take a look at the Batman comics, right, or soon they're going to be coming out soon. One of the actual comic books said there was, as I mentioned, people found a way, like people are escaping loop, and then Batman himself is going to try to not stop them, but going to try to find out who is the leader of this group, right? And that's where everything is going to lead up to that point in time where we're going to find out who is the leader, who is controlling this. We already know, we heard her voice once in the trailer for season 5, and this is gonna be leading up to that moment in time where we're gonna find out who's gonna be the main leader of this, the leader of IO, who's behind the 0 point, who's everything, and that's what's gonna be the main reason, right? The creator of and from that time being, that'll be the final. And that's what I'm saying. It will be the final chapter of Fortnite, and lead up to this point. It's what makes it. I'm gonna turn off the music right now because I need to talk to you. It's the final point of this whole chapter of Fortnite and the history of that point. That's what kind of scares me a lot of times. I started playing Fortnite back in season 6. Doesn't mean that this will be the final chapter of Fortnite, but I do feel like it could be the final chapter. Because the reason why it's not going to be the final season, it's going to be the final chapter. And, it's basically showing us that Fortnite in general it's going to be a lot really interesting through these through a couple more seasons. It's just going to be like, that's what's, I mean, modding's coming to Fortnite soon, only in creative, but we'll see what's gonna happen after when Batman finds out who is the leader of IO and the whole bunkers, everything about the 0 point, the leader, the creator of the 0 points, everything. Some people think it might be Ramirez, like the skin I'm wearing right now, but I don't think so, because it would be too simple. It has to be someone who's smart. It's definitely not female Midas, because we just got her. It has to be a person who has worked with IO for a really long time and who has created the 0 point. So it's basically from that point on. So I'm just saying this could be the final chapter of Fortnite. This is going to be the final. It's it's where, Fortnite. Okay, so where it started, right? Where it started, chapter one, right? We went all the way through all the season from season X, from all the way to the end, right? They stopped at 0 point. They contained it, and that's where things got, Then we move on to chapter two, right? Through that time frame, you know, uh, then when Batman is going to try to figure out who's the one who's the leader of IO, and as I mentioned before, and then that is basically what is going to happen through, you know, you don't know, like we don't know at this point in time, where we don't like, it might be the final chapter of Fortnite, but doesn't mean that Fortnite is going to end. It just means that the game itself is going to keep continuing and strive for perfection. Perfection. I said perfection. Sorry. It might. It's just going to be the final chapter of the 0 point, and all we know through that, right? And now, I'm speculating when, you know, after when they finally found out who the leader is, you know, they take her in custody or something like that, like normal people, you know, the world finds out who the mysterious person and who is controlling, and they're keeping people from this, like, in prison, from other realities. And then what happens next is a big question. I speculate what's going to happen next is there's going to be a new leader of IO. It's not going to be called the Imagined Order anymore. It's going to be called something else. And this whole entire roster, we're going to call it the Saga now because it is a saga. You know, I mean, so what's going to be so this is basically what's called the 0 point saga, and like from this point on, like, so until we get to season X, I mean, of chapter 2, that will be the end of the 0 point saga, right? And then we move on to the next version of Fortnite. And it just makes, it kind of makes sense because, we got the 0 points. It's possible that this might be the end of the 0 point saga. Moving on to the next saga. And because the reason why because both chapter 1 and chapter 2 are imitating themselves, basically referring to this could be one giant saga. Like, and what I mean by a saga is basically like a giant book, almost. It's like a giant book, right? I know a lot of people are probably, not gonna listen to this video, but it is like a giant book. It's explaining from this point in time, from the beginning to the end, to the next saga. And, that's what I think it's gonna happen. This is gonna be the end. How like in the like in the what's it called? You watch Avengers, right? Like people watch Avengers all the time. Like there's always a saga, right? A saga is like the Infinity Saga, the next saga, the blah blah blah. Each saga represents different like different time periods. Like for instance, this is a 0 point saga. The next one could be, I don't know, another saga. So that's what's gonna happen for the future of Fortnite. And I'm speculating after this, we'll get like a maybe like for chapter 2 for the next saga, we're gonna get like maybe like I don't know, like something like a maybe a cutscene where we see who's gonna be the next leader of of the whole Fortnite. The 0 point is no longer exists, uh, and through that time, you know, I know this video is gonna be really long, but I'm just explaining what's gonna happen, and it's it's that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be an end of an era and begins anew. So you know, so who's gonna be the next leader of IO? Or it's like, you know, not saying it's gonna be the end. Maybe you know it's not gonna be the end of Fortnite, but will be the end of a saga or chapter or whatever you want to call it. I call it saga because it is a saga, you know. So, and then when we get to the final point of Fortnite, we move on to the next saga or slash chapter, right? You know, whatever you want to call it. I think it's gonna be a next saga, next version of Fortnite, the next version, the version 2, Fortnite 2, version 2, or whatever. This is not like Fortnite version 2. This is just Fortnite in general, right? You know, you're still playing on the same. You're still like experiencing all the same stuff back in chapter 1, just not a lot of map changes, right? Back in chapter 1, we had a lot of map changes because the island kept changing all the time because the seasons kept going like they were really fast, right? Not because of the pandemic. It's you know like not because of that. It's because Epic they made these they made the island to not change because they want to keep things slower. They want to slow down the island so it's more progress, right? And then sooner or later, when you know the island's gonna progress, right? It's gonna remove POIs, bring back old POIs, back and forth, right? We had the first we had the um, like in chapter 2, season 1, we had the middle island, right? And I'm gonna expect after the saga, basically, I think there's gonna be a cutscene for season 10, a cutscene where we see who's gonna be the next leader, and it could be a guy, it could be a girl, who knows, but I believe that this will be, it's gonna be really really interesting, a Fortnite, and in general, we'll see what's going to continue on in season 6. And basically that means, because when you take a look at John, like if you take a look at John Jones, right? He's wearing almost the exact same outfit as the Visitor. If you remember, the Visitor had the exact same outfit. Right? If we go to right, Paradigm, they wear the exact same outfit. The armor Like you can see the army pieces right there. You know, this is a girl, right? For example, I don't have the visitor, but for example, he's wearing the exact same armor, and I believe that the sooner or later, like time when, you know, in this reality, the seven don't exist in this reality. Even though that she mentioned the seven, doesn't mean that they exist. It's basically meaning that John Jones is reliving those moments of when he, those moments, right? In he's living everything from what he did, what he done, and becoming known as a visitor, right? Because yeah, but don't say everything is true. Everything could be true. Everything could not be true. You know, the the but I just feel like some just like for example, it's I just feel like I feel like this is probably you know saying I think it's it's probably true, you know. And I saw this on Twitter. See, people saying that, and some people don't believe, some people do, but I believe this is true. The vis the Agent Jonesy and the Visitor are the exact same person, but just with just different personalities. Almost like how Midas and Oral are the same person, but with different personalities, right? Same with like a lot of characters, you know, and like what's another character would be? Um, like for instance, you know, this skin right here, Bright Storm. There are two different versions. She has a dark version and and a and a bright version, right? So all of this, all this is connected. Everything around us is connected. So this is basically a saga from chapter 1 to chapter 2 is a whole a general saga. And those it's probably not going to be a saga. It's probably just be another chapter, just an insane chapter. But I just find it kind of, you know, like everything like if we go to the island right now, right? If you take a look at the battle pass, right? Everything from the battle pass to now is imitating what like for example, Menace, right? He's an imitation of what's his name? The Ragnarok, right? Imitation of Ragnarok, right? He has all these selectable styles, well, except for Ragnarok has. Then we have like Lexa. Uh, I don't know, just an imitation of all the chapters, right? It's an imitation instead of it being a normal season. It's an imitation of that season in the past, and and it's, I think that's what season 6 will be like. It's gonna be like an imitation of what season 6 will be like, of chapter 1, season 6. Like you can see that some people are. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen in season 6. It might not be an imitation. It might well, and that's what like it's basically a saga. It's you know everything. Um, the 0 point about it. You know, we're gonna see what chapter, what 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 the future of Fortnite's gonna hold. So, uh, yeah, I know this is a really long video, but I just want to make this really, really like general, like speaking what I feel like. Sometimes I might repeat some words, but I just you know, as I said like many times, is that I believe Fortnite itself, like this whole the 0 point is one big saga. One big saga. It's like so the 0 point exists, and this season, like this chapter, is all collaborations because it's imitating in Chapter 1's Fortnite seasons, right? It's one big saga. It's just one big saga. And I'm just putting that in quotes because I find that the reason, Batman, the the DC universe, the what's the other things? The Star Wars universe, everything is basically because Zero Point is bringing everyone from this reality, bringing to this reality, is because it's creating what's called not alternate versions, but it's creating a giant universe for that version. So it's called the Zero Point Saga, and I believe that it's probably not going to be a saga, but it does feel like a saga. So, you know, and then now we don't know what's going to be happening in chapter 2 season chapter 3 chapter 3 um, for the future of chapter 3. We're not sure yet at this point. Some people are speculating, maybe we'll get merged between the two islands. Probably not going to happen. Probably we're going to live like what it's like to live in, like what's like to live in real, in like in different timelines, not timelines, but in a real environment, and that will basically start to begin a new thing, you know. So we'll see what's going to be the thing. All right, I hope you guys do enjoy it. I know this video is too long. I took a picture. Sorry. I know this video is way too long. It's about 40 minutes long. I'm sorry about that, but I want to make this like really general. We talked about the item shop. We talked about a lot of things. We talked about the whole uh, what the 0 Point is going to be doing next. We know that the 0 Point could in fact turn into the cube. Some possibilities, maybe. There is also possibility a new POI. That's what I heard. There's probably going to be new gun mechanics. There's a few save the world weapons that are coming, and it's going to be like a very what's called a dark themed, but it's not going to be like a dark theme. It's more of a maybe like something else. We'll see. But I will do another video tomorrow talking about some other things. I hope you guys do enjoy. I know this video long enough, but I'm just basically talking about like Fortnite and what's going to be the future of Fortnite. I said that there could be a possible cutscene where we finally see the reveal of the leader of IO, and then we'll see. And it's gonna be I think it's like a giant saga. I think it's just like one big saga. In general, it's like where we get in the original island, we got so many map changes, right? The 0 Point kept changing all the time. In this chapter, not so much. But in the Batman comics for season 6, there will be a lot of changes. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to be happening in that season. I'm speculating something big changes, like between the bridge, the 0 Point, the cube, everything. It's going to be like where we see it from. And we're going to be able to travel back the history of Fortnite, how the 0 Point got created, the cube, everything I mentioned in this video will explain. And I and this is basically going to be called, I'm just going to call it the 0 Point Saga. So, I hope you guys do enjoy this video. always leave the like. This is gonna be like a not podcast, but a discussion Fortnite video. I would really like to discuss this with someone else talking about this, but there's so many people just don't understand about the 0 point. Like I had a friend who doesn't. And we'll talk about this later, but I hope you guys do enjoy. Leave a like about this whole discussion video. Talk about the 0 point. Talk about the Fortnite Island. You know, we're gonna learn a lot in season 6. The backstory, the 0 point, the cube, everything from season 6. From that point on. So, the collaboration between the DC universe, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be very wild. It's gonna be a lot. It's 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 really interesting. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video. Leave a like, and I will see you all later. Good